It's a Thursday evening in a small town in the Eastern Cape. A man emerges from the darkness and breaks into a hardware compound. Seconds later, a vehicle is in flames. But this isn't an isolated incident. Hardware stores in small Eastern Cape towns like Tsomo, Cofimvaba, 𝗀𝗵𝗶𝘀 are under attack, and delivery trucks are the target.
It started about 2018, 2019. One day I got to work and I was handed a piece of paper by a lady, and on the paper was a telephone number, and the lady said to me, "You phone that telephone number for your deliveries. You are no longer going to do deliveries."
Jack, not his real name, is a well-known businessman in these parts. He's asked that we protect his identity.
Why did you even call that number? Because it sounds like she came in to intimidate you. This wasn't a business proposition.
No, it definitely wasn't a business proposition. But I had heard one or two stories from other towns where the same thing had happened and where trucks had been burnt. People were also prevented from doing deliveries.
But Jack didn't heed the warning.
I did continue delivering, and my drivers, I explained to them that please, that if they come across anything, the first thing they need to do is get out of the truck and run. It wasn't a week later when my trucks were burnt.
Babe Foster, because babefike bebaninzi behawula into bamandithi babe Foster ndicinga into bana xa bebefikile mna besithi bazocela kwakufanele into bana mhlawumbi 1 or 2 yabo bakwazile uya kumphathi bamcela bahlale naye phansi bangafikisele behawula bebaninzi.
𝗀𝗁cie works in one of the hardware stores. When her boss also ignored instructions, there were consequences.
Ndiye ndafowunelwa mna kusebusuku kwathiwa kuyatsha evenkileni. Ndafowunela umuntu ondicinga uba noba kufuza bakufutshane nasevenkileni. Mna ndicinga into mhlawumbi kutsha ivenkile ubuqu bevenkile. Waphinda wandifowunela back wathi no kutsha ii-drugs. Siyoyika nyhani, siyoyika kangoba uyiqomba uhlele evalweni awuyazi uba uzova kuthiwa kutheni.
As these rural communities continue to grow, so too is the construction industry, and hardware stores have never been busier. On average, a truck loads material worth 40,000 rand per delivery. And because villages are so far apart, a single delivery can cost up to 3,000 rand. Corrugated iron sheets, bricks, cement, building materials destined for far-flung villages. Add the delivery charge and it becomes a highly profitable enterprise. And lucrative businesses often attract unwanted attention. Sinister networks looking for their slice of the action. Enter Masiphathisane, an organized group of violent community members. Meaning, let's take care of each other. Masiphathisane is running a mafia-style extortion racket in the province.
Ngo-2019, ngawula ngetraki into 𝗀𝗵𝗶𝗴𝗶. Ndamiswa endleleni kodwa ndihambe ndathi into 𝗀𝗵𝗶𝗴𝗶. Kodwa mandijike ngetraki ngabantu baMasiphathisane.
This driver, we're calling Inga, says the job is a risk to life.
It seems these truck drivers are caught in between a rock and a hard place. It's either they continue working to feed their families and face threats of intimidation and fear, or they quit their jobs.
So who's pulling the strings? Who's responsible for this upheaval? The answer might surprise you. This is 𝗀𝗁cie, active church elder, a businesswoman, and a pillar of her local community, and alleged Masiphathisane mastermind, instigator of the campaign of intimidation and violence unleashed on some local businesses.
akangumuntu othusayo xa umjongile because uyi-Christian ekugqibeleni uyakhonza.
Looks, it seems, can be deceiving. Beneath the respectable exterior is a woman of steel, apparently unafraid of getting her own hands dirty. It's a simple enough extortion racket. 𝗀𝗏𝗀𝗃 and her band of merry men deliver letters of demand to hardware store owners. Hand over your truck delivery services or else.
Ebethetha kakhulu ngoyena uphambili kakhulu kuyo yonke lento iqhubekayo, although nabanye ke babethetha kodwa oyena muntu oyephambili kakhulu nguye.
For weeks, our team worked to track her down, but 𝗀𝗏𝗃 proved surprisingly slippery. This is until we spotted her at a church event in 𝗀𝗁𝗶𝘀. Apparently rattled, she agreed to speak to our producer in her car.
Mnazani bekhona xa kwanjiswe ileta bezihanjiswa ngabafana
bebesithi ubukhona ne basponsor ne CCTV footage kwenye evenkile
kwabuild qha inoba kwabuild nakwa King.
In a corner, 𝗀𝗏𝗃 spilled the beans.
I-hardwares mosizeza abantu bangaphandle ne umasipala uthe since kukho abantu abaphangelayo ne bethu kwezi venkile bona babawela basisithathu 50-50 because bane trucks sine trucks sathi thina mind as long nathi sizawulala skile i-trucks zethu zingazukuma but sathi ke ngoku lo 50-50 wethu uzawumonitharishwa sithi okweteksi.
She calls it monitoring, but business owners call it extortion. 𝗀𝗏𝗃 insists that she runs a legitimate business, contracted by a number of hardware stores to make deliveries. Not so, says Jack. He maintains 𝗀𝗏𝗃 even demanded that he fire some of his employees.
I said to her, you know, my biggest problem is the people that work for me. I have drivers, I have what we call conductors, which are the gentlemen that go with the drivers. They offload. So those people, I said, now what do I do with my staff? And she said to me that I must give them a package and I must send them home.
Wait, a strange woman walks into your store, hands you a piece of paper, and forces you to use her services and get rid of your employees.
That is exactly what they wanted me to do.
Despite the fear and intimidation, business owners in the area have attempted to negotiate with 𝗀𝗏𝗃 and her infamous group.
We went to meetings. At one of the meetings that I went to, I was told to sit down and keep quiet.
Yintoni yanenza bani nifuna nijonga kuzo zonke business?
Sibone economy siyahlupheka sisi. I-trucks zethu zimile and kaloku urhulumente ngowethu. Asikwazi ke ngosibukele abantu abasuka kwezinye indawo kungekho ne-share encinci abanosinika yona because thina sicela into encinci sisi incinci lento siyicelayo.
That's worth another listen.
Lokhu urhulumente ngowethu asikwazi ke ngosibukele abantu abasuka kwezinye indawo kungekho ne-share encinci abanosinika yona.
And there it was, about as close to an admission as we were ever going to get. The intimidation and coercion have left hardware store owners feeling helpless, while police in this area seemingly look the other way, or worse.
The police got involved. I had a meeting with the station commander. I did speak to the station commander. At one of the meetings, the station commander was present.
This is the Tsomo police station. It's surrounded by many hardware stores within stone's throw. Yet all of this is happening uninterrupted right in front of them.
Siye nyani police station, xa sifike police station kuqhagiwe egeyithini.
Police station?
Police station sinqonqe iqhaga, kungabikho umuntu usabelayo, kuzothi qi. Ipolice eli-1 ngapha ngentla, kwalapha ipolice station lapha eyadini, kuzothi qi ke ngoku nelesibini. Sithi ke naka besicela uzoreporta into kokubana ziyatsha ii-trucks. Liphendulile ke ipolisa lathi bona abazizo izicimamlilo so akho nto bazoyenza.
The people we've spoken to say the police in this area are basically non-existent. We've been trying to get answers from them, but we've been given the runaround and gotten a basically a blasé attitude about something that's very serious and dangerous. Ultimately, they opted for a written response, avoiding an on-camera interview.
The police say no new cases have been reported against Blackie and that there was no evidence linking her to a crime in a previous report. They added that one case of arson involving a truck was investigated, but there was insufficient evidence. While the police continue to drag their feet, these hardware store owners continue to live in fear.
I've decided to speak out because I wanted to be exposed. I want people to see what is happening. And maybe if it is exposed, there might be something that can be done about it.